I would never advise you to be in a relationship of any kind with someone who is just not intentional about what they want. They need to know what they want. This is also why I urge you guys to know yourself, know what you like, know what you dislike, so that when you are in situations like this, you can easily make the choice to be like, well, this isn't for me or this is for me. Because it just comes across as very immature. It just comes across as very immature and just emotionally immature, just deficient overall. It's a weird place to be
Hello
in.
and welcome to Kitchen Table Advice. My name is Paola and I am the host of this podcast. This podcast is a safe place where you can ask for any advice you want. It can be relationship advice, both platonic or romantic, career advice, or life advice. I wanted to create a safe place where you can ask for your advice without fear. My purpose here is to serve as a guide and give you a different perspective for you to eventually both find your purpose in life as well as your voice. As a reminder, every name will be anonymous and your identity will always be kept a secret. This is not professional advice and I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist. Just think of this as advice you would get from a close friend on a kitchen table. So, let's begin.
Hello, my wonderful gems. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're a returning gem, welcome back. If you're new here, hello, how are you? Make sure you set out the vibe, and if you like what you're listening to, then please feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. Okay, so what we have been hiding is finally out in the open. We have a website. Woohoo! Yay. So we have our website. It's called kitchentableadvice.com, and we offer a lot of stuff on our website. There's different type of blogs we go through. It's usually focused on philosophical issues or things about yourself. And then we also have art space as well as a poetry space. It would be really great if you did visit our website. Again, I'm going to put it down here, kitchentableadvice.com. And that is now where we are going to get all of your stories as well as contacts or anything you want to send us. Just go to our website, click on contact, and send us anything you want. So we are open to anything because I know sometimes email can be difficult for some folks. So now you can just go to our brand new website and you can see what we're up to. So we're so happy to share with the world. And again, for our blogs and our poems and even some stories, there is a comment section. So you can comment to us directly, or again, you can just send us what you thought. But anyways, all of this, the website and the channel, is all for one thing: to help you find your voice, to help you become your true authentic self, and to help you establish boundaries with the people around you. So I hope the website can be an easy avenue for anyone to access us or talk to us or just look at what we're going through. We have a tab, it's called Our Work in Progress, and we just have a bunch of different stuff in there. It's very entertaining and interesting. So we're happy to share this with you and we're happy to share it with the world. Alright, so that is that for announcements, and now we're gonna jump into the only story of this episode. We're only gonna do one story today because it is fairly long and we're already losing some light. Ooh. Anyways, let's dive in. The title of the story is My Situationship Has Left Me Broken. I've lost my best friend. How do I move on and trust again? Alright, let's dive in. I am a 28-year-old woman and I was in an FWB with my guy friend, a 31-year-old man. I'd say it was closer to a relationship, but without the title. He did not want he didn't want more than FWB. I feel bad about cutting things off because we've shared many insights, jokes slash laugh, giggle like school kids, had chemistry, and were very close. Parentheses, best friends pretty much. We were both each other's emotional support. We agreed to keep the affection at a minimum, and I tried to set those boundaries, but they weren't completely respected. He became increasingly affectionate over time and wanted to hang out for longer periods slash spend entire weekends together. Even when there was no sex, he was very affectionate, like cuddling with me from behind and giving me kisses on the forehead and cheek, and random kisses while spending the night together. Enveloping me in his arms while holding both of my hands, playing footsies, etc. sometimes trying to hold my hand while driving and offering to fix things up around my place. At a few points through the FWB relationship, he started getting jealous of my other guy friends. On the other hand, sometimes he would try to reassure me that he wasn't into other people. When asked about his lovey dovey behavior, he said, I just like to do those things. I'm naturally affectionate. He still denied wanting more than an FWB relationship. Therefore, I try to not look into any of his actions. But of course, being so intimate, it was only natural for me to develop some feelings. I knew it was just an FWB relationship, and because he didn't want more, I kept my feelings at arm's length. I noticed a few red flags about him, and so I'm okay with keeping it casual slash short term for the time being. Then things started getting messy. He was upset with me for being on my phone too much and texting other people when we were hanging out. He would also be upset if I didn't want to sleep over or when I didn't respond to him for a couple of hours while being out. He said he reacted this way because he thought I was ignoring him and he was hurt. I realized it was unfair for him to expect all of these relationship things when he didn't want one. I was no longer okay with it, so I cut it off. When I broke it off, he accused me of having someone else and that and he said that he trusts it will go well. He said I was tossing him to the side and that he meant nothing to me. All of this is not true. He said, don't you know how hurt I am? I care about him as a person, but things were starting to get toxic. I don't think I could remain friends, at least for now. I couldn't stick around and be someone's girlfriend without the title, while he possibly looked around for someone better. This hurt too much to think. I would have preferred if we could actually keep it as friends who just occasionally have sex. Not that all of this extra affectionate slash emotional intimacy. I don't regret the FWB because I learned a lot from the experience and it was really good. Well, it was really good sex. I really just miss my friends. How do I deal with recovering from this? Wow. Well, let's just jump into the advice. I think he caught feelings, but he didn't want to say he caught feelings. Or maybe he really is. It's kind of odd. It's kind of weird. I can understand why you didn't want the emotional attachment. You just wanted the physical aspect of the relationship because that's what you two agreed on. But then he started being all involved and asking all this stuff. So I can understand why you felt why you decided to cut it off, and it makes sense. And especially when you mentioned that a few of the boundaries were crossed, that's already a big red flag. But I don't know. I think this might actually be this might actually be a situation where he got attached and he wanted to be in a committed relationship with you, but because you showed no sign of wanting to be in a well, I'm not sure. Did you show a sign of being committed? Because this is just a confusing story overall. But I think from what you wrote in, it seems that you didn't show a sign of wanting to be in a committed relationship. And he didn't want to come out and basically ask you to be in a committed relationship. That's what it sounds like to me. But I'm not really sure. This is just confusing. Overall, I think you did a good thing breaking up with him. Not because of all the extra affectionate stuff, not because of going back on what you previously agreed on, but from the fact that he seemed really immature. And he seems like he doesn't know what he wants. I think it's so weird because on the one hand, he wants to be in an FWB relationship with you, then he also wants to be affectionate with you. But it's like FWB relationships, from what I know, usually are just the physical. There's no emotional attachment. There's none of these other cuddly, cutesy stuff that couples do. You just go in, do the physical aspect, go about your day with a partner that I guess you know for a long time. Obviously, I've never been in one. Okay, maybe it's not that obvious, but from a partner that you trust or from a friend. Basically, it's not just a hookup. It's more like no. this person, I am going to be with this person just for the physical aspect, whereas I'm going to get my emotional relationships from somewhere else. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Please feel free to let me know in the comment section if that's not what FWB relationships are, because that's always how I thought they were. So I understand how that can be a bit confusing to you to have agreed to just be physically intimate with this person, but now they want the emotional intimacy. It's just, it's a lot. It's not what you asked for, so you cut it off. So part of me thinks that he did start developing feelings for you, but he didn't want to tell you. And instead, he went around this roundabout way of trying to show you emotional affection, trying to do all the cutesy couple stuff, in hoping that maybe you will also develop feelings for him and then let him know. Some people are weird out here, okay? Some people feel like somebody else has to tell them, I like you, for the relationship to be, I don't know. Some people want to be confessed to and they are not going to tell the other person how they feel. Honestly, it's just immature. I just think it's immature if that's what he was going through. Other than that, then again, you did ask him, and then he still said no. He still wants to be in FWB relationship. I don't know. This man is confused, and take it from me. Don't date confused men. They're a waste of time. They're a waste of time. Okay, don't date someone who is confused and they don't know what they want. It's better for you to have someone who says, I just want to be in a situation, or I just want to be in an FWB relationship, or I am looking for this, than to have someone who just go with the flow, they're blase, they don't do anything. They just, whenever life hits them, then I guess that's when they're gonna make an effort. It's a very, I don't know. It shows a lack of drive from a character standpoint, and it's just not good for any type of partner, including obviously FWB relationships. For me, it's just, I would never advise you to be in a relationship of any kind with someone who is just not intentional about what they want. They need to know what they want. This is also why I urge you guys to know yourself, know what you like, know what you dislike, so that when you are in situations like this, you can easily make the choice to be like, well, this isn't for me, or this is for me. Because it just comes across as very immature. It just comes across as very immature and just emotionally immature, just deficient overall. It's just, it's a weird place to be in. But to be honest, I don't know. I don't know. The man is just a walking contradiction, and it's a lot. I think he stabbed himself in the foot by constantly telling you he doesn't want to be in an FWB relationship, even though he's doing stuff that people do in relationships. And I think it's also because of this notions that guys have in their minds, or society as a whole, that women are so emotional, they get so attached, blah blah blah. Some girls do not. Obviously, you seem like the type who does not, and he shot himself in the foot, thinking you were going to reciprocate his feeling, but instead of just being an adult and communicate how he felt. And the last point of my advice is, don't enter situationships or FWB relationships with your friends. Don't do that. Oh my gosh. Please, can we stop? Can we stop doing that? If you're going to if you're going to transition, if you're going to change your platonic relationship into a more intimate or romantic relationship, or whatever you want to call it, just know that when that is lost, so is your friendship. You're not just going to bounce back as to it never happened. It did. And people catch feelings, whether you're the girl or the guy. In this situation, it's the guy. And now it's impossible for you to go back to having him as a friend, having that friend where you can bounce the ideas off of. It's just, I listen, it's just very detrimental. Please don't enter relationships with your friends. And I know media, apparently, there's a friends to lover pipeline, and a lot of people love that. But it's just, you're going to lose that friend if you're going to enter a romantic relationship, or anything that is not a platonic relationship with someone you are in a platonic relationship with. Just know, once the romantic aspect of the relationship goes, so will the friendship. You're not getting that friendship back. So if you're not willing to completely throw the friendship away, if you're not willing to completely move on and cut them out of your life, then don't enter a romantic relationship with them. And I know some people befriend people to eventually get into romantic relationships with them, which That I mean, I don't understand it. I don't like it when people do it. That's why I don't do it, and I don't like it when people do it to me. So it's just, I just don't. I think it's just room. It just breeds disaster. Just be honest that you see this person as a romantic prospect, and if they don't see you as such, it's fine. It's your loss. Go to someone else who's going to love you and cherish you for who you are. Not everyone out here is going to like you. And yes, sometimes they might think about it and then maybe they can see you in as that romantic prospect, but just communicate and be honest with people. There's no reason to lie. That's just my thing. It's like there's no reason to lie. That's what that's what children do. Can we just all be grown-ups and just communicate, be honest with what we mean, and if the person rejects us, we need to be adult enough to know it is not a deficiency on us. It's not because we are not worthy or because we are lesser than, but because of whatever that person is going on in their life. Maybe for them, they don't think we're the right partner for them. Maybe for them, they're not ready for a committed relationship. There are a plethora of stuff, and 9 times out of 10, scratch that. 10 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. Just go about your day and go towards someone who is going to reciprocate that same love for you. There's no need to lie and try to befriend people and then act like people put you in the friend zone. No, they didn't. You place yourself in the friend zone. No one put you in the friend zone. If you were honest with that person from the get-go and they would have just gave you a yes or no answer right there, you would have known how to proceed. But no, you try to manipulate the situation. You try to manipulate the outcome by thinking that proximity to you would have made them change their minds. And it didn't. So eventually, you ended up being disappointed. You disappointed yourself. It's not them placing you in the friend zone. It's your fault for you not being honest and full right in the beginning. You could have saved yourself the time and saved yourself the hassle if you were just honest, and it would have just rejected you.
Okay, so I did feel like adding this on here that there are people who keep others around them just to make themselves feel better. Kind of have like a crowd of entourage around them to make them to gas up their heads, to fill up their ego with helium or whatever they want to do. So that does happen. And in those cases, yes, you might technically be friend zone. However, ultimately, I'm still gonna put it on the person who did decide to befriend that person, whether it's a girl or guy, really does not matter, and did not have the courage to confess because they either they thought or they knew that that person was gonna reject them, but they thought that while staying in proximity to that person, I guess they were gonna develop invisible feelings and eventually see them as the romantic prospect they are. Listen, no, I still don't buy that whole people put me in friend zones thing. However, I do understand there are some people who keep other people around them for an entourage and lead them on. That does happen. However, I don't know. I don't know. I was going to say that's not most of the case, but maybe it's like a 50-50 thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know the statistic behind it, but if someone doesn't treat you the way you want to be treated, it's always advisable for you to leave. You don't have to put up with that kind of behavior. But that's just my thought on that. Okay, so back to the episode.
And again, rejection is protection. Just because someone rejects you doesn't mean you're deficient or you're lesser than or you're not worthy of love or anything that people come up in their minds when they feel like they are being rejected by others. It has everything to do with that person. It has nothing to do with you. 9 times out of 10, no, 10 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. So just relax, focus on yourself, focus on what you bring to the table, and focus on being the best version you want to be. 9 times out of 10, people don't even ask themselves the basics of what type of partner do I want to be or what type of person do I want to be. But if we example, if you want to be a lawyer, you know that you have to take these steps. You have to go to undergrad and then law school and take your LSAT, all of that. If you want to be a doctor, same thing. You know, go undergrad, take your MCAT, med school, all of that. There are guidelines for the careers we want to aspire to, for the house we want to have. You save up your money to at least buy this house, or you save up your money to buy this car. But relationship, we just sit back and relax and let fate handle it. Intentionality, people. Let's be intentional. If you want a certain type of relationship, you need to be intentional about that. What type of person do you want to be? What type of partner do you want to be? And then you unpeel the layers. You work towards the What type of partner do you want to be? What type of partner do you want to have? And then you slowly work towards being the person that partner will want. Now, caveat. If that requires you changing your entire personality or who you are at your core, don't do it. It's never good. However, working a little bit on yourself and striving towards the person you want to be, not what the woman is asking. Because a lot of women are asking for a provider and protector, and I understand where that comes from. However, not every man is a provider and a protector. If that's not you, trust me, there's still women out here for you. Okay? So, again, ask yourself, what type of partner do you want to be? People don't even ask themselves the basic questions. However, with everything else in life, we if when your parents first find out, who do you want to be, blah blah blah, we tell them, and then we have a game plan. Okay, so I'm going to go to high school, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to major in this, I'm going to major in that. There's a plan. But when it comes from relationships, oh, we're just going to sit back and relax and let life slap me with a partner, or I'm just going to wait in my house. Who knows, maybe my dream man or dream woman is going to come through the door. Really? Can we stop? Let's just go back to the basics and the simple stuff and ask ourselves, if you're looking for a relationship, not everyone wants one, okay? What type of relationship do you want to have? What type of partner do you want to be? And what type of partner do you want to have? And again, try to make it realistic, or at least within the realm of reality. You can be delusional to a certain point where it's just eh. But yeah, so that is what I'm going to leave you guys on. If you're wondering, just ask yourself those questions and proceed with your life accordingly. And most importantly, be intentional. If we're going to be intentional about everything else, stuff like a car, a house, a job, then the least thing you can do is be intentional about the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. The rest of your life. Like, can you think about that for a second? If you're going to be intentional about buying this car that you're probably going to trade in for a new one in a couple of years, I'm pretty sure you can think a little bit about what type of partner do you want to be for the person who is going to be your lifelong partner. All right. So that is it for this episode. Okay, so that is it for this episode. Please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And again, please visit our website, kitchentableadvice.com. We have so many stuff in there, and I know you're gonna enjoy them. And that is now the place where we are going to get our stories as well as business inquiries. We just feel like it's much more easier, much more professional, and we have a plethora of stuff we're going to come out with, and I can't wait to start promoting it here. So you can go check it out right now and see the stuff we already have in store, and let me know what you think. All right, thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we see you next week. Bye.